is from Latin vernacula. No? And you know what that means? A slave born and raised in his master's house. Can you imagine that? So from now on, I will not use vernacular. You see how dangerous words are? That's it. A writer struggles with this language, whether it is Tagalog or, As a matter of fact, now that we are on that, as a matter of fact, I do believe that Tagalog will never be the national language unless we have great writers. Unless we have great writers. It's the great writer who will really advance the cause of a language.
Thank you very much. We now have a question from UP Los Baños. Dr. Leonova Pahutagana, are you there?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Los Baños. Our question is from Dr. Attorney Noel Ramiscal from the Department of Humanities.
Hi, sir. I was one of your former students 2 decades ago. Anyway, as a person who's lived in different countries for over 8 years, I'm just struck by your what you have written here. That one's country is what one's imagination owes its allegiance to. Sir, I dream in different languages. Does that mean that my allegiance to my country is lessened? Do I have a fractured imagination? I just want to know from you what this sense of country actually means for someone like me. Thank you.
Well,
would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Yes. This is from Dr. Attorney Ramiscal, and his question is, from someone who has lived in different parts of the world for over 8 years, I am just wondering about the sense of country that you tried to explicate. You said, one's country is what one's imagination owes its allegiance to. But what if my imagination lies in many questions? Does that lessen my sense for my country, the Philippines?
I don't know. You have to examine yourself. To begin with, I do feel that our own literature in English, let's say, because that's the one thing I know, that literature, as I said, is our country's image. In that literature. Do you read that? What do you read? Are you deep into, or do you read much of our own literature in English or else in the language that you are comfortable with? I think we can begin there. So come around and we'll have coffee. I feel so much at home, I'm sorry.
Okay, we have also another question coming from UP Cebu. Professor Fe Reyes, are you there, UP Cebu? Professor Reyes from UP Cebu, please come in.
We have a question from Professor Lilia Teo of the Humanities Division. Good afternoon, sir. My question is, what is the relation of the student's mind being blanker and lacking in in context as a result of non-reading to the creative process of writing and developing one's sense of country. What is the big picture here?
UB Cebu, Professor Tew, may we request you to again repeat the question in a slower manner?
Okay, I just wanted to get the big picture, because I feel that the disconnectedness of the things being. I will just give the question now. What is the relation of the student's mind being blanker and lacking in context as a result of non-reading to the creative process of writing and the development of one's sense of country? What is the big picture that is painted here?
I think, may I try and answer the question? I think in our university, we should foster in our students a love for our own literature. In English, for example. Actually, my bias is English, no? But that doesn't mean it begins there. Our students will have to foster their own love for our literature, because it is our literature that will deepen our sense of country. That's our image. That's from story to story, from novel to novel. That's us, interpreting us to ourselves, and imagining ourselves. That is how that sense of country will develop in the student. But you know, I really feel that in my experience as a teacher, that's a very subtle thing, yung sense for language. Actually, how do you develop that? The sense for language is an imaginative grasp of the words and the sounds of the words of a language. That one. Now, how do you develop that? That's the thing that we want to develop, the sense for language. Now, if I were Cebuano, I've been reading some of these linguists. They say that the mother tongue, you teach that. You use that as the medium of instruction, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Now, because that early, they will get that sense for language in their own language, their own mother tongue. That is transferable to other languages that they will learn. So the sounds of the words, the cultural weight of those words, that's the thing that we want to develop, the sense for language. That's why I'm going to require 500 books.
Before the lecture is over, we will have 1,000 books. We can entertain now a question from what is now my bias, UP Mindanao.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Kelly Marie Condan, a BA English student from UP Mindanao, and my question is as follows. Sir, you mentioned a while ago that literary work springs forth from experience, that which is relived and represented by a human face. From what I've understood, sir, news writing is quite different from literary writing, such that news writing is plain hard fact as opposed to the art of thought and language as portrayed in the latter. Now, how is it possible to differentiate different styles of writing, sir, when in fact we write not only out of feeling and thought, but out of our perception of reality as well? Because even in news writing, sir, the mere choice, the word choice, is quite important, sir, because we can use bribe over money or money over bribe. So isn't that, in a sense, art? Word choice and language?
Yeah. Well, if you're a news reporter, it is demanded of you that you present the facts as objectively as possible. Of course, from time to time, some words get in there that might imply your own judgment of the facts. Yeah. So, you take the responsibility for it. Yeah. You know, now I'll ask you a question. What is the difference? I'm playing. What's the difference between the fact of the matter and the matter of the fact? There, you think about that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. We do have another question from UP Diliman. UP Diliman,
Good
Professor.
afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. This time we have a question from one of our FA students, Mr. Francisco Guevara.
Good afternoon, Dr. Abad. Thank you for a very interesting and thought-provoking lecture. Just a couple of questions. First of all, during your speech, you used English in relation to its Greek and Latin origins. So how do you structure or understand this native clearing, given your awareness of these Western origins? How is a literary work read with a sense of country, given these origins? And in a lot of ways, it's just me trying to figure out or understand how you would basically define the sense of country, given present reconsiderations of the nation state. What with the practice of diaspora and overwhelming amount of OCWs and immigrants, this idea of country and nation state has been vastly reconsidered. So how do you understand that in relation to the practice of language?
If you begin with the assumption that language is already